Hi everyone, I'm Max from the Max team and I am with Orange. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to casting some good Hearthstone this evening.
Yeah, with those really interesting players, Faeli, Floki, Rami94 and Fled. We have three Grandmasters here and one of the best European players. With Faeli, you know those players. You're involved
Yeah.
in this Max League 5. What do you think about those two matches, Orange?
Yeah. So I actually got quite like some both Faeli and Floki are good friends of mine and two people I respect a lot when it comes to Hearthstone. Floki is part of the same practice group that I most of the time play with, so I have some insights in terms of like lineup building there. And
Okay.
the second match is from the same group that I'm in, and both Fled and Rami have been two of my like two favorite people to follow in Grandmasters. The seasons that were, I was like really cheering for Rami there by the end of the season, and they both just seems like good people. So both these matches, I think, are gonna be really cool to cast.
Yeah, so this match are for the Max League 5 round 3. We are in LHS format and the first one will be Faeli versus Floki and we'll
Mhm.
see that they are from Group A. And for now, Floki is at 2-0. 2-0, very good result for now.
Mhm.
And Faeli, it's 0-2 and it's last chance to get back to go back to come back
Come
in
back,
this
yeah.
group, yeah. To come back in this group because only the two first players will be reaching the top 8 playoffs after the 7 first rounds are played, so it's difficult. For now we have Trazent that has forfeited for medical reasons. We have Rosel we now forfeited because it's at 0-2, but Faeli is
Mhm.
still here and he knows the Max League very well because it has been in the final, I guess, one time, once
Yeah.
or twice, and he knows that even if he's at 0-2 now, he can find a way to reach the playoffs. So it's
Yeah,
really interesting.
yeah, Failure is not someone that you should count out. He's been like on top of the European players. I'm not sure. He's like very well known in the Czech community. He practices a
Yeah.
lot with Jarla, but like all the top players respect Fairly a whole lot. It's interesting when you look at the lineups because Floki at 2-0 is playing like pretty much like the standard lineup that you see been using most in like qualifiers and master tours and stuff. Whereas Fearless lineup, which you would think would be more on the safer side, considering that he needs to win to still be in.
Yeah.
His lineup is very different with like some builds of decks that I barely like. We see like something very similar to like the old Baron's Rogue. In that's been banned, unfortunately. I was interested to see how that worked out. And an interesting take on Libran Paladin and just like very risky decks, I'd say
Mm.
in general. But I'm very interested to see like how such a different lineup stacks up against the standard best quote unquote lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why we prefer to make our events in LHS format. So new and not that often played decks
Yeah,
can rise from it, and we like that. We are going
yeah,
to check the lineup starting with Floki.
yeah.
If you want
Uh,
to, yes.
Right. So I touched a little bit on it, but Floki has like the cookie cutter for most popular decks. If you look at Monsters for Stormwind, Garrote Rogue, OTK Demon Hunter, uh, Hand Warlock, and Base Hunter were the four most popular decks and the most popular lineup. That was Conquest, of course, but I found out when testing for the league that those decks are just so powerful in this meta right now. So they it's not just lazy transferring from Conquest to LHS, but like this actually also does work as a LHS lineup, just because the decks are that powerful. It's what I played myself in Master Tour Stormwind, and I like Floki's builds of them in general.
And so we won't see the rogue from Floki, neither the one from Faeli, because they have been banned. And this warlock is interesting. We have only one altar of fire.
Yeah,
sometimes it's maybe two.
I think that Altar of Fire is like a bit of a misunderstood card in Warlock. A lot of people think it's a 2-off because, you destroy the combo decks then. But truth is that in most matchups, you just want that one Altar of Fire to speed you up to your Baron Scavenger and your Bloodshard Bristlebacks a little bit quicker. And that's really the good use of it. A lot of the time when you draw 2 of them, and let's not get into the situations where you draw both of them like after you got 10 cards in your deck, because then they're pretty useless. But if you draw 2 of them, they can be not so impactful in all games. So I like the decision of just playing one Altar of Fire and having 2 Mortal Coils instead, which is great for Warlock's problematic matchups.
Okay, interesting. In the Demon Hunter we have 1 Viper. Okay.
Yeah.
It's classic now, do you think?
This is the standard list. There are some people, the Viper or Magferidon, depending on what you're trying to beat. But if you're gonna go by, I think the Viper is the most standard, just as another tradable tool and another card draw effect, which is super crucial for making the deck work.
Okay, so nothing really weird, as you said, in this lineup. Yeah. So we are going to fight this one. And yeah, I guess it's okay. We have Paladin, Shaman, and Druid. Okay, so not the class we are very useful to see.
It's quite interesting because I think that Warlock some people decide to not bring because it has some weak spots, but that not bringing OTK Demon Hunter as it's been like, it was a deck that got like most top performers on ladder this past month that just was. I think it was performing well in the Master Tour. Excluding that from your lineup, especially in Last Year Standing, where you want like a wide variety of decks. It's a bold move, but I do like. I'm not exactly a huge fan of Libram Paladin in the meta. I'm not sure how strong I think the deck is, but I think that both Aggro Druid and Elemental Shaman are 2 very good choices, and especially in the context of getting to ban Garrote Rogue, because that would be the weak spot for, well, pretty much all of Faeli's decks. But with that banned, then I think his decks can perform better than they can in most other settings.
And we said that the Shaman fight is broad, and it's not a weapon one. It's an elemental with Alakia involved, but not with Doomhammer. Okay.
Yeah, because Doomhammer was most of the time used Doomhammer is great against Garrote Rogue, because Garrote Rogue doesn't really have taunts and doesn't have heal, so it doesn't interact well with Doomhammer. But when you take that deck out of equation, then in most popular matchups, it's better to go for board, and especially with the prevalence of Rustroot Viper in the meta, Doomhammer becomes like kind of this scary card to bring. So I think that the Doomhammer list is generally more powerful, but I think with the ban strategy of Faeli, that the elemental list with the other weapons like the Whacking All Hammers could be a choice that pays off for him.
Okay, and last week we had Wire playing his run 2 from the Max League 5, and he had a note for us on cam which said Paladin sucks as he as he beat him. So he doesn't like or respect the deck as you said before.
That quote actually comes from the practice group that were in me, Floki, and Pyre. But I wasn't the one that coined it, but it's been a lot of Paladin sucks going around in our practice sessions whenever we face the deck, because we aren't exactly sure what the good matchups are even supposed to be for Paladin. Maybe it can beat Hunter, which we actually do see in Floki's lineup. So if that matchup comes up, then I might get to eat my words, or well, Wire's words.
No, we'll see, we'll see. But if you play Hunter, you don't want to see those Libram of Hope and with Taunt and Restore 8 health. You don't want to see this card involved.
Yeah, you can win the early game against Libram Paladin, but then the Truth Seeker hits, and then they Libram Hope you, and it's very, very hard to get back. One of the few ways that Hunter can beat Paladin is through Moonfang, and we see that card being excluded from Floki's list. So I'd say that it's like, if that matchup comes up, which I would expect to be like a good counter queue for Faeli into Floki's Hunter, then I think it's looking really good for Faeli. But other than that, I'm not exactly sure what deck Faeli is looking to like really get that edge with. I think the Aggro Druid is the deck that has like the most potential for like sweeping a series. And it's against the Floki's decks. I actually think that the Aggro Druid from Faeli is the deck to really keep an eye on. I think that could be Faeli's strongest weapon, and from Floki's side, I'd say that probably the Demon Hunter, if piloted well, it could do really well.
Okay, so we will see this in action right now, because we are giving the go to the players. So we have Faeli at the bottom of your screen, Floki at the top of your screen, and we are giving the go right now. Okay, so Faeli here. It's okay. You can start. Good luck. And I didn't mention that it's the first participation of Floki in the Max League. So it's doing well for now, because it's at 2-0. And it's interesting to see, because new incomers are not that ready to play those kind of leagues when they are at their first season.
Yeah, I mean, Floki is just explosion on the competitive scene over this year. Pretty much has been amazing to follow. I think he's really been like crushing the Master Tours, and when I watched him in Grandmasters, I was impressed for the most part. There are certainly some things, like with being I don't think it's unexperienced in card games, but like you can see some things that still needs work. But like when it comes to technical play and like understanding of the game, it's definitely on the at the top level with a lot of others. So it's a little bit Faeli, been seen for longer, also more experienced. It's kind of a like battle of the, what do you say, battle of the ages, like the different eras of Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Looking newer to the scene, and Faeli, old person like me.
Like us. And do you think, now for 2K22, it will be the end of an era with the new esport format from Blizzard, when the mercenary release? Do you think that we have another Hearthstone, what do you say in English?
Grandmasters?
Yeah, but do you think
like
that we'll see really new young people?
You mean like that?
Yeah, that will get involved in the game.
I mean, I think so. Like if you look, I don't really see how things have changed much. And like I mean, I know Gabi has been in the scene for like a very long time before all of this success, but like we still see like new rising stars every year. And like while it may take some time for good players to cultivate, and like really get into like those top spots, I think that we definitely have the potential of people that are incredibly good and that might have a breakthrough in the next year. Someone that I know that you have experience from seeing on the Max League streams this pocket trade, for example.
Yeah.
I think that he's been good for a very long time, but he's just starting to get like the experience from tournaments and like get a feel of how it is to do well. So I definitely, and he's just one of many that I think can really break through. So I have no doubts that we'll see some success story in 2022.
Okay, so we have this first match starting with Druid on Faeli's side and Demon Hunter on Floki's one. We have this Razaman Battle Guard that can bring Toads of the Wilds here. But you play this Natural Studies first?
It's interesting because we have the mini set coming out tomorrow, and even though the meta should be solved, we still see like the build of Aggro Druid is not really agreed on what the best list is. But Faeli is actually playing something that I haven't seen in a good while, which is the Nature Studies list with that really gets benefit of Toad of the Wilds being like a high status taunt. I actually used Aggro Druid myself to get a top 32 finish for this month, and the evolution that we're seeing during the Master Tour was like more to go into beasts with Moonfang and Fangbound Druid, or to go with Dreaming Drakes.
Yeah.
But Faeli is playing more of an old school list with the Toads, and there's also Kazakus in there instead of the Park Panthers, which Kazakus is a very powerful card against Demon Hunter.
Okay, so it took this Pride's Fury from the Natural Studies. Interesting. It can innovate it next round. Next turn, sorry.
It's incredibly powerful because Pride's Fury, like the relevant removal tools from the Demon Hunter is Immolation, Auras, and Fellscream Blasts. Those are really what you're relying on in this matchup, and Pride's Fury takes you out of reach from even like Talented Arcanist Aura, which is like some of the more powerful stuff you can do. And the best of this is that both of these are from Nature Studies, so it's not something that Floki really plays around. So if Floki doesn't have like a clear answer to this now, then Faeli could just run away with the game.
Yeah, we have a very solid board here. But if Floki can read of this board, the end of fight is really empty now with only this little cub, even if it's a blue one.
Druid's one of those decks, like if you don't draw composting, you really don't have too much leverage past the board you go in on. But the good thing is that the board that's here right now is probably something that Floki has to clear over 2 turns, because honestly at 3 mana there's just no cards in the Demon Hunter deck that deal with multiple minions at like 7-6 health.
Yeah, and previous turn, Floki didn't want to play this Spectral side. He had 1 mana left, and he preferred to keep it.
Yeah, it's most of the time, like if you well, I guess he was on the first stage, so I guess he was trying to set up to go for the first stage of the quest this turn. It's risky to play your card draw when like when you don't have further card draw, so you're relying on your card draw to draw you into further completion on the quest. So I think Floki was trying to save up the Spectral until he drew like a tradable card or something else that made him more safe in completing the first stage.
And we were at 1 mana to have something really wide with this Arbor Up incoming.
Yeah, it's what Faeli has to be careful of is Arcanist Aura. It's a pretty specific 2-card combination for Floki to have at this point, but that's like the one thing I have to keep in mind. That being said, like the 1/1 cub isn't really doing much, and it plays around Fellscream Blast, which is also fairly relevant. But yeah, if this board sticks, then if it isn't exactly Arcanist Aura that we can see that Floki has, then this game would just end on the next turn with Arbor up. But I just hope that they don't have it in these spots.
Yeah.
And if Floki, we see him a little bit hesitant on the Arcanist Aura. I think he's considering if he can wait on it even more, and use, say, Arcanist Hellscream Blast instead, and see if he can get Faeli to commit more. But I think it does the safe call and decides that this is definitely a board worth clearing.
And oh no! Don't play the mule. Don't play the left one, please.
Well, I'm afraid the mule looks like a very likely play this turn, and we might have to say bye-bye to spectator mode for a bit.
Yeah. Okay, guys, if you don't... No, not this one! Okay, so we'll be back in the game. Okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
There is a bug with the first mule. If you play it, so it's Faeli. If you play it during a spectator mode, then the spectators have to leave and get back. Okay, so we're back.
Right. So yeah, from Floki's side, there's really not too much interesting going on. All you want to make sure is that you don't die to Arbor up, and you're pretty sure that there's no composting in hand from Faeli. So besides that, you're not too scared of the Druid building too big of a board. So as long as Floki keeps Arbor up in mind for lethal purposes and just effectively finishes the quests, then he should be in really good shape here.
And 1 mana to one more time from playing this composting and be back in the game. Do you think that Floki, even at 6, is ahead now?
Yeah, I'd say that looking at the Arcanist Hellscream Blast in Floki's hand, and with the limited options available for Faeli, I do think that the thing is with this matchup is that the Demon Hunter doesn't really have to win the game. You just have to not lose the game, and by doing so, eventually, like, you gas out Druid, and you can pretty much do anything. But something that is like a thing you can't do in most matchups, but you can do in this one, is to use both your Fellscream Blasts, which you usually need to say one as your win condition, because you can just, in the end game, you can just build a board of Guild Traders and Morgs and just go for the temple plan. So Floki is really free to use whatever resources he has available, which seems to be plenty. So I'd definitely say that Floki is favored from this spot.
Okay. And Faeli doesn't look that confident on cam. He knows that something's happening.
Yeah, these spots are always like a little bit frustrating to play as the aggro player, because you're just sitting here hoping that the opponent doesn't have the answers available, and you just have to do these plays that you feel like you're so close on life total, but you still need to push that little damage through board, and well, frankly, it's just out of resources. One thing that can happen in these spots, if you have played the Squirrel, Vibrant Squirrel, you can get like a bunch of 2-1s and composting that and get back in the game.
No.
But none of those have been involved in the early game, which just leaves Faeli pretty much completely out of combat mechanics.
And it keeps this Annihilatron in hand instead of playing it and give it to Floki. Now he's waiting to have a better board to compost.
A play here that I think is like incredibly reasonable from Floki's side is that he could just play Il'gynoth and Rusted Viper this turn. Looking at Faeli's deck list, the best answer to that would be Kazakus. And even still, I don't think that would be enough to get back in the game. So if I were Floki, I think I would have liked to see the minions come down. I mean, Curtis is fine. I just don't think that it's necessary to even go to this step, even though it's very hard to find lines that don't win from the spot he's in.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's all in now. Composting, I guess, yes. As well, so cannot... You shall not pass.
Yeah, you've seen... what Faeli is trying to find is... you've seen an Immolation Aura and a Fellscream Blast. Now the Demon Hunter draws through their deck so quick, so I don't really think that Faeli thinks there's much hope in this one. But you can swing the board through getting Oracle of Elune, Razor Main Battle Guard, and say Teacher's Pet or Weibo to just build a huge board out of 3 cards. But I think at this point, even that's too late, and we're just going through the motions.
Okay, is it a trade?
I grow impatient.
Another happy guilty.
Okay, another trade.
Seems like it. We're just gonna see within 2 turns, Floki is gonna have been able to draw the entirety of his deck, and there's really not a clean way to deal with this 7/7 Curtis. So.
I got it all.
Okay.
Not many cards left.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
is the spot that comes up very often with just the Demon Hunter is just playing stuff on board, like we see here.
Like you
No.
love a good deal.
You have this game playing too.
I concede.
Okay, and now Floki managed to get rid of this Druid.
Yeah, I think I said it in the before the match that these would be the 2 big decks to keep an eye on: the Demon Hunter from Floki and the Druid from Faeli. Probably the 2 strongest decks in the series, and getting the head-to-head win here should be really improve Floki's chances to win the series.
This ends now.
So we won't see this Druid anymore. Yeah, it has been beaten. And now, the famous Paladin deck. So, would it be relevant versus Demon Hunter? Do you know this this kind of matchup?
I can talk a bit about this matchup. So regular Libram Paladin, I think, is pretty decent, depending on who you ask in this matchup. But where you see that Faeli really has put effort into building his lineup is that he plays the list with secrets. Oh My Jog and Galloping Savior are both incredibly frustrating cards to try and go through while you're trying to clear boards and complete quests. So I think that the list of Faeli with secrets in particular does have a bit of an edge versus Demon Hunter even. I'd like to go as far as to say, especially with the hand we're seeing from Faeli's side here. He pretty much has the Libram Paladin starter package with both Aldor's Sword to Fallen, Hand of Adal. Looks beautiful.
And this End of Adal is appealing, but you have this Sword of the Fallen that can be played as well. Which one do you prefer?
So I think it's a close call. From where I'm sitting, I think I would like to try and interrupt the Floki's quests with Oh My Jog, especially since Sword of the Fallen potentially represents 2 Oh My Jogs. Why we might see him go for Hand of Adal first is because to complete the first stage of the quest, you actually don't really play cards, but most of the time you trade cards away, which wouldn't trigger the secrets. So Hand of Adal makes sense, although I think that it's also very powerful to just make Floki have to start playing around the secrets as early as possible, especially when you have Sword of the Fallen, which can put multiple in play.
Yeah, but you had a chance to to draw the secret. So don't know. Maybe I had played this Sword of the Fallen, but I get it.
Not playing sword is like a little bit better against say I-beam or something like that coming from outcast, and then you don't really have a minion to put Hand of Adal on, and you get more tempo from this. And this spot is always incredibly annoying from the Demon Hunter side, because to play around Oh My Jog, you want to play a sheep spell first, but then if you play a sheep spell first, then you most of the time want to play multiple spells, and that triggers Galloping Survivor. But Floki has a pretty clean turn anyway.
Yeah, we managed to go to the part 3 of this quest.
Yeah.
And one more card draw here.
Like as for the quest completion, it's going really smooth for Floki. The big problem is though that Faeli has had pretty much the perfect start in terms of curving out, and at some point you have to start being reactive as Floki and deal with this. But we can see here if he wants to try and get Demon Slayer Curtis in his hand and then probably have to react next turn, or if he decides that he has Arcanist Aura, which is the best clear you can ask for.
Pleasure doing business.
And seems like he is deciding to... would assume that you go for acrobatics if you start with trading here, but we'll see. It's pretty tempting to just clear this, but you're definitely worried about what will come up on the swing back. And also, while the odds are that the secret that is up is a Galloping Survivor, because you already saw Oh My Yog, you still have to take that into account. This could be the second Oh My Yog.
Okay, will it try?
Seems like it's going for it. It didn't really have any good spells to check this with, which is
this one is
sad. All of the spells that Floki had available were very important in one shape, like in one way, and also Arcanist doesn't really interact well with Oh My Jog, because unlike Hunter Spell, you still cast a spell that it gets spell damage. So I think that Floki was pretty much caught between a rock and a hard place with the play he made, or like with the options he had available rather. And
we have this Devout Pupil that can be discounted twice with Hand of Adal into Library of Wisdom. I think a way that you play the second Sword of the Fallen here, that you add already two secrets, and one more has been drawn now. So I guess you won't play it anymore.
Yeah, the secrets lose a little bit of its value when it's like Floki would know at this point that it's Galloping Survivor, because those are the only two secrets in the deck. And it's just not as impactful. It can protect you against certain type of clears, but if it's known information, it really doesn't disrupt Floki's game plan as much. So I think that I like the option that Faeli took and just go further on board. And he saw one Arcanist and one Immolation Aura, which would literally be the only answer Floki can have to this board. And he plays around it by putting out Devout Pupil in play and putting most of the buffs on the Truth Seeker and putting in at 8 health. So I like Faeli's recognition of what he's supposed to do in this matchup.
And if you're just here now, if you just arrived, we are in the round 3 of the Max League 5. Floki is now at 2-0 and in the league, and Faeli 0-2, so he has to win to keep a chance to reach the playoffs. only the two first players in the group will be involved in the playoffs, and we have 8 players per group.
Yeah, and you might look at Faeli and think like, oh, he's 0-2, like he's doing so badly, but the players that are participating in the Max League is so many good players that it's really not like you really don't have to be ashamed about being 0-2.
No.
A lot of the competitors are absolute world class. So
Yeah, we have the grandmasters, the best players with the best win rates in Open Cups players, and the best ladder finishers. That's we invited. Okay, it's 1-1 now, and we won't see this Demon Hunter anymore. And Paladin won the game. Maybe it would be a 3-0 with Paladin. We'd see.
yeah, looking at the rest of the decks available for Faeli, for Floki, sorry. There's the Hunter, which we talked about, which would probably be one of the worst matchups for Floki. So it's really reliant on this Warlock beating Paladin, which I think we will see now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we see Floki go with the Hunter first, which I think is really interesting because I think among the two decks that Floki has left, I think this is the worst matchup of them. But it might be that Floki doesn't think that his chances are any better with Hunter against the Shaman. That he thinks that the most likely way for Hunter to get a win in the series is to get this matchup at this point.
Yeah, you can have a good start with the Hunter and try to be so quick that your opponent Paladin cannot reach the Librum of Hope.
It's really all about the early game. You need to snowball the early game and keep the pressure rolling from Floki's side, because if the Paladin ever gets to a spot where they can cast Librum of Hope, you pretty much immediately lose the game. There's just not ways for Hunter to deal with that card. So you have to end the game before that. Interpret Initiate is absolutely crucial, like we see that Floki has to win this matchup from the Hunter side. And honestly, you couldn't really ask for a better draw from the Hunter side. It's a little bit interesting how you play it out, but on Faeli's end, we see not a slouch of a hand either, with the Bannerman, Sword of the Fallen again, Truth Seeker, all of the cards that you want early on.
Yeah, really nice start here for Floki. This Hunter, this Intrepid Initiate, you may like have the coin for it, but yeah, the Paladin didn't have the any one drop, so it was very good. And maybe the Hunter can make it.
One of the weak spots of the secrets is that while Oh My Jog and Galloping Survivor shines in a lot of scenarios, one of the ways we play around both secrets is by just playing minions. And if Paladin is behind on board, that's an incredibly effective strategy. So the best way to play around secrets is to play minions and go face, like the absolute basics of Hearthstone.
Okay, something I can do.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, will be carrier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Ariel
have
is
to
one of
use this rush.
Yeah, you really don't play a lot of rush minions in the Secret Paladin list. So having a way to interact with this Interpret Initiate is really a very good thing for Faeli. You see the Warsong Wrangler could decide to pick up the second Volpertinger here to trade into Cariel, and I really do like this decision.
Yeah,
because
interesting.
With the Secret Paladin list doesn't play Libram of Justice and City Tax, so just making boards with Volpertinger, like, there's really not good ways to punish that.
Do you like the Libram on the Bannerman instead of Aldo Attendant? Because the Bannerman is a way dice on Warsong Wrangler.
Um, I think it's close. This might be more of a way to trampling Rhino is if you split up the power and toughness between your minions, and also just like put Libram of Wisdom on the minion that is most likely to die, that would be the Bannerman, is better. But just like seeing the trades on board, I think that I would be more inclined to maybe make a big Alder Attendant, especially considering that you know that Volpertinger was the card which was picked from Warsong Wrangler because you saw it getting buffed on board. And Floki also has perfect information on what the secrets are now, so he knows that if he plays this Mankrik, he shouldn't play the Cub, because then LA would get the Galloping Survivor horse in play.
Okay, and he prefers to play this Man Creek instead of Hero Power and Cub.
Yeah. Seems like more of a hedge versus Alder Truth Seeker. Because even if you would Hero Power, knowing that Oh My Jog is up, you get more value of being on board than direct damage. But this Truth Seeker is very big.
And can he manage to deal with the opponent without attacking right now with piercing shot, quick shot? You know that Omayog is in play. Maybe quick shot into piercing shot. Yeah.
I think you have to hope that you just Oh My Jog is on your side and gives you a good secret.
Oh, secret. Which one? Ambush. Oh,
Ambush.
Okay. Didn't figure they could be a rogue one, but yes, why not?
Yeah, Ambush would be very good in general in this matchup, but seeing how you expect Faeli to have Libram of Hope here, the Ambush actually does nothing, and Faeli also knows that there's no rogue secret that interacts with spells casts against Libram Hope, so he knows that the coast is clear. And as we spoke about when we talked about the matchup, this Libram Hope, there's really just no comeback for Hunter. If the game goes to this spot where Libram Hope can be cast, the game usually ends.
Let me think. May the light
Okay. Ooh, this ambush is really interesting here.
I'm a little bit interested in why Faeli thought that it was necessary to play the Night of Atonement there, because granted, with the rogue secrets that are available, which are Plagiarize, Shenanigans, Ambush, Dirty Tricks, and Bamboozle would be the 5. There's really not a secret that punishes you from just going Libram of Hope pass. Whereas this way you actually do give Floki a potential way like 1 in 5 if it's the rogue secret that's been hit.
Yeah.
To get back in the game. So I really don't think it was necessary to play the Knight, but
and it's not happy. Not happy, and on cam, can assume that he takes it like as a mistake now.
Yeah, I would assume that he realizes the second ambush procs that this was not a play we needed to do. That being said, we're still in good shape, but you're starting to sweat a little bit from Faeli, because something that should have been a 100% win starting to slip out of your fingers a bit. Although with these 2 devout pupils just picked up, I think we're back in the driver's seat as Faeli.
Yeah, it will be difficult here to deal damage with the board from underside. With it. Oh, okay. It prefers play the Smuggle Okay, okay.
Yeah, you can play all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So cards you're afraid of here is like pretty much we see that those are not available in Floki's hand, but you're afraid that the cards are aimed shots, quick shots, piercing shots. So you might be interested in like trading the cub, but that is only if you have lethal on the next turn. Then you also know that the wild card, the Mancrick's wife, is somewhere
Yeah.
in Floki's deck and can really change the damage breakpoints.
Yeah. And you know that the opponent has the trampling Reno, so it's a 7-6 because that's been drawn with this Wrangler. Oh, didn't want to see this one, I guess.
It can still play Rhino. I think this is the way you get the most damage out of it.
Yeah.
You get to connect for 6 damage this turn, putting Faeli down to 7, which is the key point for the aim shot quick top deck that has been the new kill command for those that played before.
The good old times when beasts were that relevant.
Yeah, and huge draw from Faeli with the Libram of Hope. I'm interested to see what Floki top decks because a piercing shot would have been lethal.
Okay, so it's 2-1 now for Faeli, and the Paladin still in the run for the 3-0.
Yeah. Maybe Faeli should put up a sign that says virus sucks.
Okay, so we'll have this Warlock now for Floki, his last chance to get the win.
Yeah, in Lost Hero Standing, when you see like someone lose twice against the deck, you'd think that the last matchup would be pretty bad. But honestly, I think that the Warlock is actually pretty well positioned to win the remaining series here. I think that it's very good. I played like 200 games of Warlock since the Master Tour or something. I played it a lot. I think it's very good into Paladin, and it's close against Shaman, but I think it's better against the Elemental Shaman rather than the Doomhammer list. So even though I'd say that Faeli is overall favored in the series because it's 2-1 up, I'd say that Floki is favored in both of the matchups remaining, if that makes sense.
Okay, it's a coin Bannerman here into Bannerman. Obviously.
Yeah. This is the sort of start you want. How you win from the Paladin side is that you make big threats that don't want to get swept by a Soul Rend. One of the best possible cards you can have in this matchup is Noble Mount, which we don't see in Faeli's list. But you basically want to have sustain through a Soul Rend and more pressure. Eventually, when you win, if you win from the Paladin side, I should say rather, it's through like a big Libram of Hope minion sticking after you got the Warlock out of threats slowly but steadily. And Bannerman is probably one of the most ideal cards you could have for this sort of game plan because it makes a touch of Nafrisim and the Drain Soul a lot harder to use.
And we have this this Anatheran on 4 on Floki's side. Okay, sufficient.
But yeah, Backfire Anatheron is Paladin doesn't really have reach. Like they don't have direct damage, so you can afford to play Anatheron pretty slow and just start. Your minions are so big in comparison to the Paladin's side, just on average, if you compare Flesh Giants to McGurgle, like you see that if Paladin isn't very strong on board already, that the Warlock's minions would win the race often.
Okay, so that Floki used this touch of the Nath Rhythm instead
Yeah.
of Gnoll to test an eventual or Mayog here and Galloping Savior.
Yeah, and Gnoll matches up really well against the Galloping Savior as well. So that's just
Yeah.
like a neat little interaction that comes up. We see that Floki decides to not proc it because things can go wrong with the secret, and also Faeli can just set up a new one with the sword that he has equipped. I like this decision. A big thing for this matchup is that Faeli doesn't run Libram of Justice, which means that Paladin really doesn't have a good way to come back from a bunch of Flesh Giants and an Ephirons being played. So that's what Floki is trying to go for, just setting up a lot of big minions in one turn, because there's no way the Paladin can punish it. And if you play against like a more traditional Paladin list without the secrets, then you have to be careful about how to leverage your threats, like to make sure that you still have waves of threats even through a clear and things like that.
More bones to gnaw on.
Now we see immediately as Faeli exhausted the Sword of the Fallen, that Floki immediately gets more aggressive when it comes to proccing the secrets on the other end. So I really like how Floki is playing this. They're both having insanely strong draws, I think. But sadly, depends if you're a Faeli fan or not. That would favor the Warlock, considering the Warlock's good starts pretty much beats Paladin's good starts in this matchup.
Okay. Do you think that this quest Warlock still uses the quest as a game plan to win the game, or only to deal with the board more and more, and then win before this win condition to draw all your deck?
In this matchup, like in this particular matchup that we're seeing now, normally against Paladin, the final quest reward, the Tamsin Blightborn, is very good for winning against Paladin. But when there's no clears, no Libram of Justice on the Paladin end, then I think that the quest becomes quite obsolete. It's nice to have the additional points of life gained every now and then, but I don't think that it's the Tamsin is ever gonna really be the win condition that Warlock uses in this matchup.
Okay, backfire here.
Activates the Scavengers, makes Flesh Giants 0 mana. Floki was also playing a bunch of Warlock on ladder last season, so you can really see with how he's pacing this, with how he's setting up plays and what his game plan is, that he has a ton of experience in piloting this, and even this matchup it looks like.
Yeah. He played already one Raise Dead, so the end of the turn went back. So only one more to go to eventually get one more giant to add this Libram of Hope.
Yeah, you set up the pupils. One of them is quite significantly buffed through the Bannermans. So the opposing board is actually pretty much matches up with the size of these Flesh Giants, which is surprising to see. But considering how Floki got them down first, and we also see Tamsin Mortal Coil being something that can be incredibly useful for dealing with all these Divine Shields, I think we're still gonna see Floki get out ahead. I wonder if there's... I think what Floki is looking for... I think it's pretty easy to find a potential, like how to clear this board, but I wonder if he's counting for lethal, potentially. through like Coil and Battlemaster. I don't think there's a way to get through, but you're probably looking at it, and then if you don't find
Yeah.
it, then you just go for Tamsin, Coil. Probably Drain Soul has to be involved here for certain breakpoints on damage, and then how many scavengers you can fit in.
Okay.
Or if you go Coil Bristleback here, but I think the Drain Soul is just better.
Yeah, interesting. And this card is really relevant to this Tamsin Roan. Really a Warlock style.
Yeah, I mean it's incredibly good in the Warlock deck. Not only that you can do these plays that get you back on life total and lets you cause like really efficient removal, but you can also use it with Soul Rend in the late game when you're just trying to win with a quest reward. Not in this matchup in particular, that doesn't come up too often, but Tamsin is just a very efficient card in the deck. I call them Mini Tamsin and Big Tamsin.
Okay, I was thinking about this this variant, but doesn't seem to like it that much on cam.
You have a decent play with the Samuro.
No.
You kill everything but a giant. The problem there is that you'd be dead to Battlegrounds Battlemaster, since a giant would still be left up and you don't really have anything in the way of taunts. But at some point when you're behind enough, you just have to hope they don't have it. I mean, you pretty much know that it's there, but you play it your outs. Varian plus Libram Wisdom kinda does something similar here in the...
No, but you have a 9/9 on board.
Yeah, the problem is that it doesn't get taunt, because literally every taunt minion has been drawn, both the Truth Seekers and both the Pupils.
And you left this Tamsin Roan on board.
Then strike
I don't think you have too much of a choice in terms of that. You could play the Samuro, but I think the Varian is the play that is more likely to get us back in the game if there's no Battlemaster. But yeah.
Okay, so it's 2-2, and we have nothing to apologize, because the the Paladin didn't make this 3-0, so everything's okay.
But Virus is safer now. But yeah, last matchup is interesting. It's one card like on both ends that is the key to everything, which is Soul Rend. I think that Faeli is in pretty good spot most of the time if Soul Rend is not picked up from the Warlock, and Floki is for sure in an extremely good spot if Soul Rend is picked up, because Shaman's threats really don't stack up well against that card, and also you don't have the reach in terms of Doomhammer that you can usually beat Soul Rend with from the other sort of Shaman decks.
We'll see. Oh, we have in starting Erdnis Armor Big.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's interesting. We see Floki keeps the unstable Shadow Blast, which I think is a fine choice, but I'm more interested in the decision to throw away Backfire in the opening hand. To me, Backfire is like one of these like really efficient cards that when you already have the 2-mana removal spell, I would very much like to have Backfire in my hand. So I'm a little bit interested in that decision by him. Speaking of Virer, I think Bolner was one of the cards that Virer was kinda among the first ones to really start playing seriously in the Elemental Shaman, and here you can really see the power of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Shaman Nova. Long years now, playing Shaman at high level, and it was very liking the Evolved Shaman.
Yeah. Evolved Shaman has been like a little bit in and out of the meta, but hasn't really seemed to be breaking through lately. But whereas like Elemental Shaman has taken up most of the space. But I think that it just shows to how unexplored even like a late meta is, that like something like Bolner, which, I mean, when you look at this, it's unarguably incredibly strong card in the deck, that took such a long time for the player base as a whole to figure out that it has a spot in the deck.
Oh, what do you think about this instructor here instead of or the armor or the slugger?
It seems to be more of is you get the double battle cry, which is nice. I mean, you're not gonna be able to follow through on it,
Okay.
but playing it as like a get 2 spells, and I think it's the safest line. If you play Hammer is fine into Soul Rend, but if you play Slogger and you get Soul Rended, then I think the game just ends. I think this is the best you can do against Soul Rend, which is what you want to set up against.
Yeah.
But you do lose some late game value, but I don't really think that's something that's incredibly relevant to go for here. But yeah, Floki does not have the Soul Rend, which...
No. Another backfire. It you is that another him later.
Yeah, you have Tamsin in hand, which is like touch plus Tamsin is one of the more powerful things you can do. But I agree with the decision of using the touch because you also have this Drain Soul, and to make the touch relevant with Tamsin, you would have to pause another turn and then go for both touch and Drain Soul. And frankly, with the hand we have, I don't really think that's a realistic option, but I think we'd be dead if we try to hold back that much. So I like this. You're setting up so that maybe he has the briefing room to play Backfire again next turn. But Faeli can sense that, or like you have the read at this point that there's no Soul Rend in hand, and you just want to push as much face damage as possible and try to close out the game before Loki can pick up the necessary pieces.
Is it the second backfire here to draw something that could do that you? Okay, no. Okay,
I think you're under a bit too much
so,
pressure.
okay.
There's still like a good amount of reach in Faeli's deck, even though he isn't playing Doomhammer. You still have the fire okay, there's actually not fire elementals, but the Serpentine portals. There's the hammer. There's the gyre worms. There's 2 spells from Fireheart. So I like this decision by Floki, just trying to clear the board a little bit. What you're probably going for is like trying to either draw Soul Rend next turn or backfire Soul Rend on 7 is like a play that can get you back.
Okay. Now this action owes Gavel. Your hero attacks reduce the cost of a battle cry in your end by 1.
We don't really have any amazing cards in the pool for Raisted. So I think I like going with the backfire first. You need to hit Rain Soul pretty much, because otherwise this Canal Slugger is gonna kill you. Sadly, we're at 16 cards, so another out would be backfire into Altar Fire, and then you can play Iron Scavenger. Granted, though, that's weak to Lillipad Lurker and similar cards, so it's not ideal. In this spot, you can still backfire for Drain Soul, but you're taking a lot of damage.
Yeah. And it's 2-2 now. It's the last game. We have the giant, but okay, so it's 3-2, and Faeli starting with a loss and managed to win the series. We have a little interview with the players, so I'm asking them, JJ, are you okay for a little interview on Discord? Okay.
We see Faeli get
now-
there on the back of Paladin, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we have something to ask him. Okay. I'm just waiting for Floki's answer. I'm closing this conversation and I'm creating a new one, as we said before. Okay, I'll be back in few seconds. Okay, so yeah, Floki is there. I'm adding Orange and Faeli to the conversation, and we will have the both of them, the three of them. Okay, here we go. Okay, we have Orange
Oh,
waiting for the two other players. Okay, we have Floki. Floki, you are muted. And Faeli, how are you?
how's it going?
Okay.
Well, a
Floki.
little bit better than last week.
Yeah, I guess so. Floki, we can see you try to communicate with us, but we cannot hear you.
Yeah, one sec.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
It's working. Okay,
oh,
so
can you hear me?
yeah, that's okay now.
Oh,
Okay, so Faeli, we were saying with Orange at the start of the show that Paladin is not that fine now in this meta, but you managed to reverse two matches with this deck. What do you think about this Librem Paladin? Do you think it's only relevant in a LHS format, or is it okay for ladder as well? What do you think?
So honestly, this week I decided to play decks I like. So because I was 0-2 already, so I just wanted to switch lineup and play something different before the meta changes, and I chose 4 decks I like. You maybe noticed I had some unusual rogue list.
Yeah.
It's one I've been playing quite a lot, but it's probably not as good as Garrod, but I like it a lot. And yeah, the Shaman is my favorite deck. Paladin close to it, and the Druid is something I kind of like to play as well. So I built a lineup around this. Also, I wanted to beat the Demon Hunter a little bit more consistent than last week, because Fury Hunter managed to 3-0 against me with that. So yeah, I think Paladin and also kind of that Shaman, but especially the Paladin is very good against the Demon Hunter, so it was one of the decks I chose, especially because of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the secret list with Sedai. I also see a nod to Mage, I suppose, with the Royal Librarian, which I think just it's pretty clean with the secret list, and I like the choice to go for that particular Paladin list. And Paladin Bad is more viral than me. I don't think the deck is great, but I don't think it's. I'm not gonna put up a Paladin sucks to the camera like viral.
And Floki, on your side, you were 2-1 before this game. Now you're 2. No, sorry, you were 2-0 before the game. Now you're 2-1. It's in this Max League 5. It's your first participation in the Max League. What do you think about the format of those kind of groups?
I really like it that you have like the flexibility to choose your own time for playing the match.
Yeah.
It's like a bit more chill atmosphere, I feel like. And I also I mean, it depends on the meta, but I like Master Standing a lot as a format as well. Most metas I prefer that format.
Okay. And about your group, you are in the group A, I assume. Yeah, I guess you know all the players involved. You think? I guess your thing is still you're still able to make it to get to the playoffs. Which other players are you maybe afraid of? In the group, there is the Italian Dark Strike, Faeli, the French Logic, the Danish Fairy Hunter, yourself, the Ukrainian Insane, and two other players that's forfeited.
I don't know all the players. I've played against most on ladder a lot,
Okay.
but I'm most afraid of facing Fury Fury Hunter.
He's been on a roll lately.
Okay. Do you have further questions, Orange?
I have one question. Like I think I have my own idea, but I want to ask Floki. In game, you had the choice of queuing Hunter or Warlock into the Paladin, and you decided to go with the Hunter first. I had my guesses, but I wanted to hear from you, like what the reasoning was when you went through those matchups and like that decision.
In my experience, like both are favorite as well, Warlock as well as Hunter, but Hunter is more favorite.
Okay.
Like in the matchup than Warlock.
Okay.
I also felt like Warlock had the most chance against the Shaman.
Yeah. I think the Warlock was in. I mean, I'm slightly biased because I played it like a lot, but yeah, I thought it was in a good spot in the series overall. So okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Faeli, do you think that the mini set that will come tomorrow is it will be really a new breath in the meta, and it's the right time to release it? Do you have do you await for it for a long time? What do you think about the cards you see?
Yeah, it's definitely good that there is some mini set coming. Like the meta is here for too long, I think. And after all the nerfs and stuff, I don't find this current meta too interesting. I think all the decks are kind of weak, but this might change stuff. So it's definitely good. For me, it's especially interesting because there is the national championships for Czech Republic on Saturday. So we have like 2 or 3 days to prepare. We have like deadline on Thursday, I think. So we basically have like 48 hours to prepare after the mini set is out. So it's gonna be some interesting 2 days. And maybe I can comment a little bit on the choice of Hunter instead of Warlock.
Yeah, sure.
You asked Floki.
Yeah.
I was also expecting to face Warlock there, but actually it kind of makes sense. Like when I'm playing this version of Paladin that doesn't run the city tax, then I don't think that it's that favorite. But I still can't agree with Floki. I think the Paladin is still favorite, but not as much. And my Shaman is actually, with this list, with the small weapons and stuff, it's actually very good against the Hunter. So if you want to play Hunter against either Paladin or Shaman, you probably go against the Paladin. And I think it made sense in the end, but I don't think the Hunter was favorite against anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was my reasoning was probably closer to Faeli's, but I do see the point of like Hunter having a little bit more of an edge against the secret list in particular. But yeah, I think it was a close decision, and I think that like no matter how you look at it, it's probably correct to queue the Hunter in that spot.
Yeah, I think it was fine. Yeah.
Okay, thanks guys, and GG Faeli for the win. Every one of you are still concerned and in the in the way to get to the playoffs. Even you are 1-2 now, Faeli. So see you maybe next week. And we are going to the next match right now involving Rami94 and Fled.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thanks for a good match. It was fun to watch.
See you. So Orange, I'm calling you on the other conversation. Okay, so where is Orange? Here, I'm calling him back. Orange. Okay, may you turn your camera on, please? Okay, will it work?
Here I am.
I hope it will work. But if not, it's not a big deal because I have a very nice picture of you, as you know.
The pictures being used of me is that they're several years old now because I like during last year I haven't really I'm not a guy that just takes a lot of pictures of myself, so
You didn't change at all, maybe the hair more longer. Just a
I
little
need
longer.
I need a haircut, but I haven't really been outside a lot, so I've just been rolling with it, just hair all over the place.
It's perfect, you know that. Okay, so we can check the group now for this second match. It's a group C, and it's a group that you may know because you're involved. Orange.
Exactly.
And it's a tough group because we have two players at 2-0, Wama and Reis, the Brazilian player. And then we have multiple players at 1-1 right now, and it will be very, very difficult to get to know which one will get the two places that will qualify you to the playoffs. And we have... go.
Oh yeah, it's just like this week will be extremely detrimental to seeing like who's more likely to go through to the playoffs and who won't. All of me, Rami, and Fled are at 1-1, so there's a lot of I have my eyes very locked on this match just for not for the sake of it's two great players against each other, but also just like results wise, it's interesting to see who comes up on top.
Okay, just a second. Okay. I'm joining Fled. So why it's not Wire tonight. It's Rami94 and Fled both at 1-1, and you want to get this point because it will make you in a really good spot to let your opponent behind right now. And we are checking the lineups in a few seconds, starting with Rami94, the players from Argentina.
Yes.
And yes.
Yeah, so we see Rami's Druid is banned, the aggro Druid. We see a little bit of a different build than what Faeli brought to the table. More of a standard list, I'd say. We see the Far Watch posts, the Park Panthers instead of Kazakus. Pretty much the standard list that's been going around for the most of the time in this meta. We see a Warlock that's very similar to the standard one that Floki was bringing, but with a Spice Bread Baker instead of the Mortal Coil being the only difference, which is more of a tech inclusion, but that can pay off in Last Year Standing. A Libram Paladin, but this time without secrets and with a more standard Libram of just the City Tax package. And then I think it's very close to the Shaman list that Fury Hunter won the Master Tour with the only difference I can spot from right away is cutting Volner, which I think is criminal for Fire Elemental.
Yes. Okay, and the ban from Fled is Druid. We won't see we won't see this Druid, but the other one are good. And it's interesting to see that the 3 of the 4 players involved tonight brought Paladin because Fled just had the Paladin as well. We are going to check his lineup right now. A Paladin, a Rogue, a Druid as well, and a Hunter.
Yeah, we even see. So is Rami's Paladin banned or is Fled's Paladin banned? Because one of them banned Paladin.
Yeah, it's Rami is banning the Paladin from Fled.
Yeah. So you can really see how the community is like all over the place with Paladin. Viver puts it like Paladin sucks, and some other players are banning it.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like, well, one of them is probably right, but there's probably a little bit more wiggle room there for like it's not that black and white most of the time. We see very similar Paladin. We see the double broomstick, which is I think that the standard is usually 1. Standard Garrotrogue list, what we expect at this point. Anaconda Druid, which I think that Fled was pretty fond of in the Grandmaster season that we just had, if I'm not mistaken, and good old Face Hunter.
Yeah.
I'd say that looking at the lineups, they're both pretty standard. Paladin just probably being the more out there bring, depending on who you ask. I mean, to these people, like maybe it's just like a solid bring. I'm more surprised that there's just no Demon Hunter on either side. You see like 3 Paladins and 1 Demon Hunter over these 4 players, which to me is just one of these decks that like, oh, I'm for sure bringing it because it's so good. But it's interesting to see.
Do you think
strategies?
Do you think it's something that is relevant to the continent you're playing from, or the server you're playing from? Maybe in Europe, Paladin sucks, but in America, Paladins is quite interesting. I don't assume that Faeli is from South America, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's more of a like the groups, like Hearthstone pro scene is very like split into practice groups or like, different groups of people, and like the South Americans are obviously like mostly closer to each other, although like probably like a little bit split. And when you're in these groups, then like if there is an opinion that is shared by a majority of the people in your group, it starts to be like this echo chamber of just like the same opinion repeated over again. So like a small opinion can turn into something like very strong. For example, I think that Paladin would be a bad deck is something that is like more, it's probably better than like what most people in our little practice echo chamber thinks that it is. And probably like if I were to speculate about other practice groups, they probably don't think as highly of Demon Hunter, and that's based on their own testing. Like I'm just here as a commentator from my own experiences, but I've definitely been proven wrong like multiple times that other groups, other people had this right and I had it wrong, and I've been had to eat my words. So it's probably just a difference in what people you talk to and what opinions come up, which kind of speaks for like I'm kind of stating the obvious here, but I think you get my point.
No. Okay, so I guess we can now give the go to the players, and we'll see if this paladin from Rami that has not been banned can make it once more. Okay, so we'll have Fred at the bottom of your screen, Rami at the top. I'm gonna reset the scores and everything. I'm giving the go to the players right now.
Not entirely sure if I've been adding them correctly. I think.
Don't forget we are on North American server.
Yeah. No, I am on. Oh, I had a friend request from Rami, and I think Fled might still have to. No. Okay, I got them both. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay, it's okay. You can start. Good luck, and on Rami's side, it's okay. You can start. Good luck as well, because everyone need lucks.
I'm very interested to. Did you say Rami on bottom, by the way?
It's no, it's Fled okay. At the bottom.
But yeah, I mentioned this in the pre-show, but Fled and Rami have been. I've been watching a lot of America's Grandmasters because that's in the evenings when I don't stream, and like Fled and Rami are 2 of my like favorite personalities that came out lately on the America scene, and I've just been I've been cheering for them both, and I think they're both incredibly passionate, which I love in Hearthstone players when someone is passionate about the game, and I think they're very interesting players in their own right, has their own like play styles. They're pretty open about like the hardships that comes with playing Hearthstone, and it's 2 good personalities, and yeah, I can't wait to see.
Yeah, and it's the first time that we have on the Max TV a match on the North American server, and involving only non-European players. So it's really nice from them to have accepted to play tonight because of the not the jet lag but the time zones. Okay, well, you
see,
add the lineups in the chat.
Yeah, the first matchup we see on screen is Anaconda Druid versus Shaman, the Elemental Shaman. I haven't really played this matchup a lot. I'll be the first to admit. If I were to guess, I'd say that it's a lot on how quick Shaman can get on board and be able to set up well against, say, an early Glowfly. And for the Anaconda Druid side, there's really not a lot of checks that Shaman can have against a big Anaconda turn. So while you're probably trying to buy some time with Glowfly Swarm and similar things, I think you're trying to get to the spot where you can swing the board big time with Anaconda, and that's the end goal.
Okay, and you have this Anaconda in the starting end. You have this overgrowth, so you just wait for the draw now, I guess.
Yeah, you have pretty much everything like at the beginning of your combo. You still need the Termination and the Solar Eclipse, things of that nature to get there.
Okay.
This is pretty interesting. I think that 9 out of 10 players would have went for the overgrowth there.
Yeah.
But instead, the Fled recognizes that he wants to fight for board aggressively. That's the way the Shaman wins, by trying to win board against you and just going for a single Arbor up. I'm not sure if I love the play, because one of the cards that you're arguably pretty happy to run into, but that kinda makes a big tempo loss, would be Storm Strike in that spot. Even like the Earth Revenant here is rather annoying for Fled, but still has the option to go Overgrowth on this turn into alignment on next, and maybe that's a way that you, or that's probably a better way than Solar Germination to pop off with Anaconda. A situation that comes up here that is very interesting in this matchup is that you generally do not want to play Doomhammer on 5, because what happens if you play Doomhammer is that the Shaman overloads, and if Fled then plays Celestial Alignment, then Ram is stuck on 0 mana.
Yeah.
So you generally want to hold Doomhammer for as long as possible and just go on board until Fled plays the alignment, and then maybe you go for the Doomhammer. But the big point here is that if you play Doomhammer, then you get locked out of a turn if alignment is being cast. So I like Rami's decision, and I think Fled pretty forced into this line, but I don't think it's bad by any means either.
Okay, and one more is thinking about this. Is Overload only playing base elemental here?
But now we're off. Now we'll see how good Fled's APM is, and if he can finish this turn in time, because there's going to be a lot of actions.
Yeah, it's a way you can draw one more. Okay, so it's small because it's a 0.
Yeah, all the cards in that cost 1.
Okay. Okay, and you're forced to play this scenario one only once.
Hey.
Not that great. This one is better. But...
You ran out of card draw, which is pretty unfortunate, I think, for Fled. Honestly, as double nourish, more guest awaits, and fungal fortunes. But what he did is probably gonna be good enough anyway. You end the turn with alignment, and Ram is stuck with only 1 spell, and you put I mean, it's pretty unreal that we say that this is a bad turn when he gains 16 armor, put 3 big minions in play, and like set your opponent down to 1 mana. But for Anaconda, standard serve is a pretty weak turn, but it's probably enough to win the game here.
But your end is empty right now. You have to find your nourish. You have to find your, what was it? The 3 mana spell. What is it?
Fungal Fortunes.
Fungal Fortunes.
I mean, the question is if you do. You're Lilliput Lurker here. I guess you do. But you also have a huge advantage that you got to end the turn with Overgrowth, which means that you just have more freedom to cast cards in this post-alignment world than Rami has. So you have more time to find these things, and you definitely have the life total to work with since you gain 16 from the scenario wards. But will be I wonder if seeing all of you've seen Anaconda, Claw Machine, double scenario ward used. I wonder if there's a world where Rami can win this game through fatigue, which sounds like a pretty unreal suggestion, but
Second
honestly, yeah. That's just playing from the top. I mean, he has card draw, but
interesting comment on the chat from Magbenterface. I'm a firm believer that Paladin sucks no matter where you are from.
Well, fun fact is Magbenterface is also part of or the same practice group as me and Virus.
Okay.
So. My echo chamber comment, yes.
So it's not from.
I don't want to be
Continent,
too hard on the Paladin players.
But from the groups, as you said. Okay.
Lilliput Lurker top deck from Rami is huge. That's one of the only outs in your deck that dealt with a 10-9, which would otherwise kill you with a hero power next turn. And now instead, Rami is the aggressor. I mean, Fled still has a lot of life total, but you need to get back on this board, and cards like Glowfly's Farm are just completely dead draws. Oh my god, why do I speak? I had not seen that yet. As I said, Glowfly's Farm. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's not playing it.
I think it was unfortunate for Fled how he didn't get further on the Anaconda turn.
Yeah.
But it's well piloted by Rami, recognizing that he has to go for like grinding out the threat that was on Fled's board, because I think it's very easy in that situation to just say like, oh, I just gotta go face with everything and do that.
And Sonar Eclipse right now. Double. Okay.
Yeah, if you play Solar Eclipse Glowfly's Farm, you make one more 2/2 than you would otherwise. It's just not looking great, is it?
No, it's not that kind of card you want to have. You want to see here in your hand. Germination on a 2/2.
You played double Arbor up, but there's still things like Nature Studies and quite a lot of mana. That being said, Rami is not overloaded anymore, and there's just lots of room for him to deal with the rest of it. I think Bled couldn't really hold on to this longer, and he did what he had to do. But yeah, it's well navigated by Rami. Rather unlucky from Fled, although I would want to go back to the early Arbora play and revisit that. I do think that Fled's line had merit and it was creative. I mean, just like I probably wouldn't even have thought of it. But I wonder if it was. It's a good skill as a player to see those lines, but I'm not confident that it was correct in this spot, even though I commend him for seeing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I have I hope we'll have an interview after the games, and we
Yeah.
can ask him about this play. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, I was thinking they were waiting for me, but it's starting, and we have this hunter now. Do you think so? This matchup is more known here. Do you think this aggro hunter is quick enough to deal with this shaman?
It's very hit or miss. I think you have the tools to, like, the early game can go pretty much like, oh, whoever, like Veiling Vapor versus Interpret Initiate, like whoever has that sort of start is probably in a better spot. But then I think the Hunter has like slightly better tools in the mid game. Say like the True Aim Crescent we see kept from Fled together with Trampling Rhino is more efficient than say Lillipad Lurker in the matchup. So, and also cards like Doomhammer can be a liability if you're behind. That being said, I do think that the Shaman's early game is slightly stronger on average than the Hunter's. So, exact numbers on the matchup, I'm not sure of, but I would lean towards probably slightly Shaman favored.
Okay.
Let me look up on Aegis Replay real quick. Because,
Okay.
we have the wonder of internet.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Exactly, it's pretty neat.
Okay, so
Aegis-
where would it hit? Yeah, the 1-2.
Yeah, it's. I think it's the. I think Face is probably the best option for the Falma there, but I think that hitting the Killing Elemental is better than Forgeborn, so you got like the middle option, which, I mean, it's alright. You get to stick the Imprisoned Falma in this way, which is huge, unless there's a Gyre Worm on the other side. Rami could just Lillipad Lurker it, which is pretty powerful against Trampling Rhino.
Yeah,
But
I do the lurker on the Felmo. Felmo, yes.
yeah, I mean, Lurker is just big. It's and all of these, like, sure, Piercing Shot and Trampling Rhino, it deals with Lurker, but it's really not the answers you want versus it, because you don't get any tempo and you don't get any face damage in. So this Lurker is kind of just very strong right now, and on top of that, it's not Fled that is punishing Rami's life total, but it's actually Rami that's off to the races and putting Fled to 16 already, which is a magic number for the Shaman deck, because 16 is in like Storm Strike, Rockbiter, or like any two combination of those kill you. And the Primal Dungeoneer being guaranteed to draw those.
It's a very important game, this one. Oh, and it's 2-0 now for Rami. A very important game because both players are 1-1 in this Group C, and you take advantage on your opponent if you win this one very badly. Okay, so it's 2-0.
I just want to say I'm looking at Aegis Replay, and Hunter is 35% against Shaman, which I said I thought it was slightly Shaman favored, but according to stats, it would be way more in Shaman's favor. I'm not sure how accurate these numbers are, but they probably give you a good estimation. Interested to see that Fled went with the Hunter first before the Garrote Rogue, because I don't think this matchup is great for Garrote Rogue, but I think it's better than 35% which is what I have to go with currently.
And now he has to win it all with this Rogue, which involves the Shaman, the Paladin, and the Warlock from Rami.
It does sound bad, but honestly, this is probably the worst matchup for the rogue. Both paladin and warlock are fairly favored for the rogue. So this matchup, I do think, goes slightly in the shaman's favor, just because Doomhammer is such a good card against you. So, but if Fled managed to get this victory, then I think it's in good shape.
Okay, kill new fight here to. Oh, it didn't. Okay, cool.
So most players would look at Octobot here and think that it's a decent play, and it is in most scenarios. But the problem with Octobot is that the Rockbiter weapon with any minion on board actually just trades Octobot without getting the frenzy off. So I think that Fled is pretty scared at this point that if Rockbiter is being hit this Octobot, then I think you just lose the series straight up. So I like the decision of going for Neophyte, especially knowing that it can't get Gyre Wormed and it can't get Arid Stormered, because there was no elemental played on the previous turn.
Oh, he prefers the Ethereal or Merchant instead of the Guardian.
I agree with that. I think it's more relevant for Fled at this point to put the Divine Shield on field contact to make it so Rami has to commit more resources to the field contact than it is to protect the Octobot.
Okay.
That being said, I don't think that Fled really has the resources currently available to really have a solid turn with the field contact, just because of the pressure that's been put on him. But if you go in with field contact and you draw, say, like Prize Plunder or Shadow Step, then you're right back in it.
Okay. Oh, it's a con now with this Kazakus.
Yeah, I think you're in a pretty bad spot here as Fled, and this is like pretty much what you have to go for. Lifesteal and deal free, I would be very surprised if those weren't the options. They actually picked a 5-mana golem.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it's interesting.
I thought my initial thought was that you go for 1 mana here with the second field contact, but the more I look at it, I think that Fled's line makes sense, because it's your second field contact, so you would like to have more resources, more mana before you go off with the second one, because if you go off with it and you don't find Shadow Step and it dies, then you just lose the game. So going for a 5-mana minion to like bridge the gap to the next field contact, I think it is a smart choice.
Okay, and your opponent's board going wide.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see the golem come down here. You have a lot of card draw, so like this works, but are you really gonna brain freeze your Octobot now? Because I would love to have brain freeze for my opponent's board.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's actually...
Oh.
I get how Fled was trying to hit something here from the Swindle. I think it was pretty fine to just go for the lifesteal column. We had some bad hits from it, but seeing how 2 Aug Merchants of like different kinds had already been used on other minions, I don't think your odds of like hitting something good from the Swindle were that big. So I would have preferred to just see the Golem.
No.
Yeah, I was kidding.
Yeah, you could trade off your both what is it? Spell damage. The both Octobots, and you have only 1 field contact left. Do you think you can now win with the cards remaining in your deck?
You let me have a look. Yeah, there's actually there's no guild traders to no arcanist in Fled stack lists.
Yeah.
So winning through the garrots is gonna be hard. What you have to do is try to win through board, but
Yeah.
that is not really that easy. It's easy against some aggro decks, but against the elemental shaman, they are very good at fighting for board. So I'd be very surprised if Led managed to find a way to. His deck is not well set up to get a victory in this game at all. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it could be a 3-0.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah, that doesn't make it much better.
okay. Oh, how much is it now? It's 11, 12, and
But 12 plus 6 is 18.
18. Not that bad.
Nah, we definitely and barring the Kazakus golem that we should probably plan for a little bit. But barring that, we know that there's no healing in their rogue deck, so I think that the gyre. I think you can just play menacing nimbus and like probably gyre worm and potentially just go for face here, because then you set up lethal if there's not a lifesteal golem, which is pretty specific.
Okay,
But yeah,
playing,
this works as well.
yeah, he's playing an elemental to can play this the second gyro worm next turn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He has lethal from end. Shadow step, but what do you want to shadow step in? No, maybe the
It would be the
golem?
lifesteal golem, but you're 1 mana short of it.
Yeah.
So you are definitely sensing that there's a lethal setup here. But so you probably start with trading Aug Merchant into the Gyre Worm, and then maybe I have to play the golem past that and hope that it hits Lillipad Lurker Slogger. Are there other lines that are more consistent? I guess we're trying to go for Prize Plunderer here. But even with... Is this better? It might just be. But it doesn't play around the second Gyre Worm. I mean, which is specific. I'm not saying that he should. But because you're probably expecting like Doomhammer or Rockbiter or anything like that to be the lethal damage on the opposing end. So I think it's a nice spot from Fled. But yeah, this was just a slaughter of a match from Rami's side. I think he piloted the Shaman really well. I think it was piloted well from both sides. But yeah, Shaman dominating.
Okay, so it's a 3-0 for Rami now. I'm checking if we can have the players for a little interview. Okay, for a little interview on Discord. Okay. Then I'll call you on Discord for a little interview. Okay, so as the camera is not working from here, so I'm adding them directly on this conversation.
Okay.
Okay, we just a second, because Fled just cut his camera, so I have something to do right now. This one like this. Okay, and at the bottom we're doing like this. Okay, so Rami and Fred are coming here, and we can have information about those plays, the interesting plays from Fred. Hi Rami, how are you?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up, Rami?
You
I can't hear.
You cannot hear?
Okay.
Is it better? We are hearing you. Is it better?
Can you please talk?
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Test. Oh, you can hear me. Cool.
We're here in Europe and it's 10 p.m. Is it okay?
Hello? Oh yeah,
Hello?
now I can hear. Sorry.
Yes, no
No
problem.
worries.
Okay, so
should I start with camera here or?
sorry.
No. You can keep it on. We have it.
Okay.
Okay. So it was so quick. We didn't send the watch the lineups so far, and then you won 3-0. It was very quick. What do you think about the games? Do you think that the lineups just told the result of the match before it has been played, or do you think some plays made it so relevant? So you won 3-0.
I mean, I decided to change the lineup. Like the last 2 weeks, I played Elemental Shaman instead of this version with Doomhammer, and I think that was the key. Like he expected something else from me, so I decided to make that change, and fortunately for me, that paid off, I guess.
Yeah. No, it seemed incredibly convincing in this series. That led into one of the questions that I had, which was more of like we saw Fury win the Master Tour with like 29 out of the 30 cards you had, if I recall correctly. And we were gonna ask, like, were you a big fan of Shaman before the Master Tour? Was it something you picked up after? Or like when did you start playing the deck more in this meta?
I still think that Elemental Shaman is actually better. Like I won week 1 with Elemental Shaman 3-0, and then on week 2 I won 2 games with that deck. Like it seems I cannot win with another class so far. Like I have all my wins was with that class, and I don't know. I mean, I still believe that Elemental Shaman is better against the field, but the thing about Doomhammer Shaman is that it's way better against Rogue.
Yeah.
And this week I didn't want to ban Rogue. I felt like I always wanted to ban Libran Paladin because it's kind of good against Shaman and also against Handlock.
Yeah.
So that was like, okay, this deck fits better with my lineup this week.
Yeah. I really like the additional percentage you get against the Garrot Rogue with the Doomhammer Shaman. It's been promising in like both the series now and the series before. Although if Faeli was piloting the Elemental Shaman that you were talking about, but overall, as someone that haven't played Shaman like that much this meta, I think it looked super impressive in this series. I really liked how he piloted the first game against Anaconda Druid.
Thanks. Yeah, I was quite lucky in that game. Like, I think that Fled did a good job trying to predict which deck I was going to start with, because that was the only bad matchup for my Shaman. Like,
Yeah.
if I lost that one, then I would have lost the entire series probably, because then I didn't have any good deck against Garrow Draw.
Right.
So that was pretty good from him, but I kind of top deck after top deck after top deck, just insane.
Yeah. It was definitely unfortunate from like Fled's side. He bricked on card draw on like the Anaconda turn and things like that. But I still think it was like a lot of spots where you recognize that, well, you have to clear the boards, and I think a lot of players would just go in on face and just try to close it out that way. But it was nice to see like going slower, even though you like at one disadvantage and just running out of cards.
Yeah, I felt that if I played the weapon on turn 5, like we are supposed to kind of do, like there's a reason why this deck is called Doomhammer Shaman. But if I played the Doomhammer there, I would have instantly lost against the how's it called, the Summon spell.
Celestial
alignment.
alignment.
Yeah, so yeah, like I did a worst play overall, which was to play 2 small minions, but I thought that if he had it, then I would have instantly lost.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I spoke about that a little bit, like the dance that goes between alignment and Doomhammer. And
Yeah.
how you usually just want to hold the Doomhammer for as long as possible just to not get locked out by alignment. So a good recognition of like everything.
I have the little information from Fred. He cannot be here because he's not that confident with his English, so it's not big deal. He could have listened to me, so he would be more confident. What do you think, Rami, about the play that went on turn 2 from Fled on this Druid, bringing Arbor up on board?
I don't know. Like after he did that, then his next turn was pretty weak, and Shaman has a lot of tools to remove early boards. Like for example, if he expected me to have the 3 mana 3/2 that deals 3 damage, and he didn't play Arbor up, I would have spent those 3 damage in his face instead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kind of that didn't change my play at all. I think I would have done almost the same if he didn't play the Arbor up, and maybe with those extra resources he could have made a better turn with Anaconda. I don't know. Like I can't completely remember his hand by that. But
He
that
had the
turn.
overgrowth instead
So,
to play, but it chose to play this Arbor up.
You could have went like instead of it like Doom Coin, Overgrowth, Arbor Up, Anaconda Claw Machine. I think the hand was something like that. I'm not sure if there was a source of card draw. I don't think so. And I mean the line that we were looking at was just like the standard Lightning Bloom Overgrowth in that spot. But yeah, I thought it was a creative line from Fled, but yeah, I was a little bit interested in like hearing more of the thought process, because not only Dry Worm, but also like Storm Strike just becoming like a good turn for the Shaman. So I don't know. I had my I'm not sure if I agreed, but yeah, sucks that we couldn't get Fled on, because I would love to ask him about it.
I mean, he has more experience than I with that
Yeah.
deck. So maybe he was in that spot several times before, and he knew that if he didn't play Arbor up there, he would have just lost before even being able
Yeah.
to play the Celestial Alignment. And if you think about that, he was able to play Celestial Alignment, and he was able to try a turn with Anaconda.
Yeah.
So then I guess that it was a good play doing the Arbor up, because that gave him the time to do the Anaconda turn. And then he was quite unlucky with that turn, but well, not everyone is Gabi, who plays the 8 mana cat and gets the 8/8 with Rush and Go Face for
Yeah, I try to bring down a Anaconda Druid to the Master Tour, because like you're seeing Gabi play it, I'm like, fucking hell, did we miss an Anaconda Druid? It's so good. And I just played it myself, just died every game, and I was like, okay, cool, Gabi.
And there is there is a legend where some say that Gabi can hit face with the Rush minions the turn they are in play.
A tale spoken through the ages. Yeah, for sure.
And Rami, now you are 2-1 in this Max League 5, and you get back at the top of the group, assuming that Warma and Ray didn't play this round yet. What do you think about your chance for the qualifications?
Yeah, no, there's still more than half the tournament left, so anything could happen. Like, but I think that well, I want to keep try harding, because we have Master Tour in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I will keep trying my best to win, and we'll see. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that I could get top 8, but not so sure.
You have a well-known orange in your group as well. What do you think? Do you think that the both of you can make it now?
Of course.
I don't know. Like, he's retired, right?
No,
I mean,
not from everything.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I said that I really wanted to play against you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very looking forward to our
Uh,
match.
Oh no, no, I heard it interview and all I said was that you said that I was old. I said in the Discord that you're now my worst enemy.
I guess you
Yeah,
have to wait a few more weeks to fight each other. If I can take a look to the schedule.
Yeah, no, no, we still have our match coming up, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, we'll have it on the show. Okay. Do you have further questions, Orange?
I think I asked a lot of questions. I don't think I have anything that comes to mind straight away now.
Okay, no problem.
It was a good match to watch. It was quick, but it was enjoyable.
So
still.
quick. Okay, thank you, Rami94. It was the first time we had you on the Max TV, so thank you for having accepted our invitation to play your game now, and good luck for the rest of the Max League, and see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
So yeah.
See you.
See ya.
See you. Okay, so we are back here. For the end of this of the show tonight, we had two very different matches with this Faeli versus Floki, and then very quick Rami94 versus Fled. It was nice to see because very different lineups involving this Anaconda Druid, the Paladin, the class of tonight.
I think the big takeaway for me is just like how different, like if you look at my lineup for this week, it's just like I thought I had like the pretty obvious, just like that's like just like how different everyone thinks about the meta when we're literally 1 day away from entering a new meta. Like it's so insane to me how this meta has just kept evolving and like still has so many split opinions on it even after like this long. I will miss this meta. I think the mini set looks great, but I think this meta has been top notch, and it's been like a really good way to send it off.
Yeah, it's really nice to have a change for time to time. And what do you think about the new Leroy that will come? Leroy with his friends, these pirate friends.
Oh,
the
yes.
6-5, I guess 6-5-4-6 that has charge. You heard me well. Charge.
It's I think it's the only card. Like no, it's just actually several cards I'm excited about. But like the last time we got to charge someone's face for 6, that was quite some time ago. That was literally just like the Leroy days, and that is a satisfying feeling. And I think as a result, that card will change quite a lot of things in the meta. I didn't have like too much hope about the mini set like changing the meta too much, but like with the last few cards we saw today, I'm really excited for tomorrow. I think it's
tomorrow.
And Mr. Smith, no, what was this called? Smite, Mr. Smite. Is that it? I mean, it's for sure my Mr. Smite. It's for sure the card I'm the most excited about. I'm gonna try it in a lot of different decks.
Yeah, it will be a very, very interesting, and it's not the only one who was charging because all the pirates have charge as well. So we'll see.
Casey posted on Twitter that Blood Sailor Raider, the one that gets attack equal to your weapon. If that is like that is some aggro pirate warrior stuff. Like if you can charge that one for a lot of damage, that'd be cool.
Is it the dad of patches?
Yeah. Father and son going on a field trip. Yeah.
And for the old guys like me, not like you, Orange, but patches had charge once upon a time.
Oh, I remember small time Buccaneer plus patches openers with Spirit Class. Oh, take me back. I'm in charge now.
Okay, guys. So tomorrow there will be 2 more matches from the Max League 5 involving 2 French players. It will be Kroms versus Seiko, the German Grandmaster, and we'll have the French Grandmaster Wama versus Weirer from the Max team. It will be casted in French by Cool Kid, and then Wednesday we'll have Pocket Train. Pocket Train, I guess it was on the chat earlier. Pocket Train versus Lightning, German guy as well, and then we'll have Regvam versus another German guy, Chabo Denis. So 3 German players, 2 French players, and Weirer and Regvam and Pocket Train, the new sensation from from Austin. It was top 16 in the last Master 2, top 2 in the last Max LAN. It's a guy.
Yep. He's on fire. Him and Fury are like, well, and Regvam, but like Fury and Pocket are like they're from the practice group I'm in, and they're both just crushing every tournament lately, and it's cool to see.
Yeah, it'll be a nice nice show.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're both insanely good. It sounds like some good matches. I can't wait to watch them.
And maybe you'll be interesting to know that Furiant will be co-casting with Atomic on Wednesday. And... Okay, go.
I'll be there. That's good.
Good. Thank you, Orange. Thank you so much for having been here with me. I'm very glad that you accepted my invitation to cast with me, because I'm a little French guy, you know, and you're a legend. So really, really nice.
No. I enjoyed it. It was great to cast with you. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you. Right. And thank you, guys on the chat, and see you tomorrow for the French guys, and on Wednesday for the German guys, and for me it will be the next Monday. See you.
All right, bye.
Thank you.